video blog. Chicago. Chi-Town. The Big C. So there's the Wit Hotel over here. That's, you'll see that white light is Wit. The is not lit up, but it actually has a sky deck, and it used to have nightlife up there. And then you have the London House over here that has a sky deck, and you think they would have, activity in these big high-rise outside things. Like the signature room at the John Hancock could have turned into a great nightlife club. Really, and they could have done open windows and integrated it into that at the 96th floor of the Hancock, is it? And then you have the Sears Tower, which has a dining room up top, and it could have turned into a nightclub. That's what they did with the one hotel that is on State Street, and it's a boutique, but there had a nice outside patio and inside outside, and they did an open air thing, and it was really popular a while back. And so, and it's perfect for nightclubs on the water. So why wouldn't you have a big type of booze cruise, but it's a nightclub? It's not about primarily the drinking, it's about the dancing and socializing. And yes, they drink, but they pay to get on the boat to do the nightclub cruise on the water. So, or you can go down the river as a cruise and then turn around. And so, again, you have to think non-traditional of these ground floor strip streets. Like the Hyatt here has the big bar, and I went to New Year's Eve there, and it was a great place to hang out. So again, what was it called? Oh, in Tucson, the Flying V. We used to all go up there from the university, and it was at Lowe's. Before I worked there, I used to go, and a doorman called KP used to run the door, and he also did dirt bags. But, or did KP do both, or was another black guy? But anyways, the Flying V had a beautiful view with it of Tucson at night. It was up in the foothills, and it was highly popular to, all the upperclassmen college kids. It was a really good time. So here's the Regis Hotel, which is the St. Regis. Let's do the turnaround. Yeah, I can do the turnaround. And so you have the hotel here, and then right from the hotel you can see the drive, and it's right off the river. And so again, I don't know, like I went to the Trump Hotel and hung out. They have a thing where they were having, and that was with Jennifer Kim, who I met up there at the hotel, and it has that, and it had a kind of a nightclub theme going on. So I don't know if it's still going, but the Trump had a nightclub theme that I went up there and hung out with a bunch of my Asian friends. So I don't know if it's still going at the Trump Hotel. But again, they can have a hot nightclub. So again, it brings people in. And, you know, if you do it right, you get the right crowd and everything. And now with open table for, you know, nightclubs, that they can book their reservation and you can weed them out, and you can have the dress code and everything else. And so you can have theme nights, like only those with 50 attires, or you have the madman, you know, people have to dress like they're in that area of the advertisers, like the show Mad Men. So with open table, now nightclubs can do things differently, and they can have theme night, like disco night, and they can have 70s night, and they play disco all night long, and they lay out the dress code, and you have to meet the dress code for entry. And so it allows them to do all this stuff. Even during Halloween, you can say, okay, we have certain themes, and you're going to do a theme night for Halloween. Like, yeah, Alice in Wonderland. Okay. And so you got to dress up like a character from Alice in Wonderland. Or you could have theme night, like use a Disney movie, or use the Yellow Brick Road, basically. So you can use Wicket, and you dress up a character from Wicket. So you can have theme Halloween parties and that. And I talked about all this stuff prior, but truly, so it allows you to do things that you could have never done before. And people know, and they check in, and they have to wear the appropriate attire and so on to get entry. And you can, you know, booking is filled, and then you go into a waiting list on open table. So once everybody's in, the club's full, then you go on a waiting list, and you don't have to stay in line and anything, but it shows, you know, you're number 54 in line, and then it gives you an estimated time that you'll be in line for, because, you know, people come and people go, and they count the people in and count the people out, and the rate of turnover is what you're calculating, and it gives you an estimated waiting time. So you can still stand in line for sound bar or anything else, but you're booked in, you're verified, and it gives you an estimated wait time. So you don't have to worry about going up to the door, because your ID and everything's in open table, and it already pre-screens you as 21. So again, they just take your reservation. So the doorman no longer has to see your ID, because now you're verified, and he sees your face, and it says verified through open table. They took your ID, and they have a facial camera, and they match you up and verify that you're over 21. So doormen no longer have to take an ID and be liable, because Open Table now becomes liable. And they can do barometric and everything, biometric. So again, matching. And there should be a biometric now on your state ID and driver's license, where you give truly a thumbprint, and that thumbprint goes in, and then you put your ID in, and then you have to do the thumbprint that gives biometric further, verification. So you get privacy. Everybody talks about it, and it gives you the privacy. So the system, and it creates that, so you get the privacy, and they see your picture and your first name. Or you can put, and it approves a nickname because it knows who you are, and you scan in, and if they need to, they know who you really are, and they can open it up if there's an incident. But you can go in as Oli, or my nickname was Foley, or Factoid. So again, you can go in as that. And so again, this bullshit going on is no more. It totally disappears. No more fucking Wild Wild West. So that's what they were doing at Hooters. I had the book through Open Table. So anywhere you're going, you want to know that when you get there, there's a seat there for you, or how long you're in a wait. Even at Pizza Uno, you can order in advance now online through Open Table your food. And it takes 45 minutes to cook the pizza, and they start it and they have it done when you're table, and it comes out fresh, because these people are in front of you, and they estimate the start time, and then so it brings up for small restaurants where they can get incredible volume they couldn't get before. So again, it creates an orderly, efficiently a society where people can go out and have a good time, not dealing with the fucking hassles. So it's like going out to Tao, and they integrate it, and you don't get the hassles. Or the Redhead piano bar. It's really small, and Open Table would create efficiency, and with it, which piano players are playing, and they can do themes like Redhead Piano Bar Country Night, Redhead Piano Bar Rock or Soft Rock Night, and so on, or Classical Music Night, truly. And so they can do these things to, and you know where Freudian slip comes from? Freud's patients were on a lot of cocaine. So for them to truly, these weren't, so you have to understand the history of all these people with this research. And so, again, people misapply these things because they don't understand the research. And Freud gave his patients cocaine because he thought it was a lubricant, and he came up with the Oedipus complex and all of that. But when you do that, which he didn't understand, you chemically alter perception. And so if you want to get a brain on cocaine, Freud is really good. Truly. And so if you're doing research on how drugs affects the brain, you can use a lot of Freud stuff. And so again, people don't understand when you're in alternate reality, you do things you otherwise wouldn't. And so you have these studies, on how these things alter reality, because they need to know in bath salt that if you took it and you killed somebody and you didn't know the side effects, like the one guy, he ate somebody's face, didn't kill him, but again, they have these psychotic episodes. And so I read about the kind bud and that having high levels of THC can cause hallucinogenic. And this couple, just like in Trainspotter, they were on heroin, but this couple in California who was in San Francisco, they did a lot of, kind bud, and they forgot to feed their child and take care of them, and the child ended up dying. But the whole point is, you have to understand these things and how they affect people's reality, like alcohol and so on. And you have these altered states, and you have to take these things into account. Did this person do this intentionally? Take this, like this tailgater piece of shit here, it's intentional. They have depth perception, they can see what's going on, but now if they've been overserved at the bar, they didn't intentionally go out to do drunken driving. And the funny thing is, with the DUIs, they don't punish the bar. You have to punish the places that overserved. That's why I didn't overserve people. Because if you get a DUI ticket, and this is what law enforcement doesn't correlate it back to their liquor license, but if you started correlating every DUI ticket or public intoxication back to the location that overserved them, and these incidents are tragic when they get sued, but I'm talking about all the incidents when they don't get sued, which is the majority of them, that people get these tickets. And I used to tell my doorman that you have to check if somebody's overserved. And if they are, you can't let them in our establishment. You have to turn them away. Sorry, you've had too much to drink. I can't let you in. So, again, I used to train them on that. You got to protect us. We have our own problems watching people that are already in if they get overserved. I don't want anyone else's drunks. So I used to tell them to screen people at the door and make sure they're not overserved. Now I'm going the wrong way. But it's not because of that. It's because I wanted to get away from the car behind me. Because they seem to be tailgating me. And they don't kick the shit out of them. So how is this video, what I'm doing, so evil that I deserve these people to consistently be able to fucking terrorize me? Show me where that is legitimate. Because I ran places and it wasn't legitimate. So how does it become legitimate now? So you're supposed to stick it to them. So again, I guess that's the point of our military, right? that we fuck you up. So again, isn't that what Trump was doing in Iran with their nuclear program? That whatever I see on the news, but the whole point is not complying, so now we fuck you up. So it's supposed to be the same here. You're not complying, now it's our time to fuck you up. See, I'm against human testing and hurting people, but when people do wrong, I was fine with John Wayne Gacy getting put to death, Richard Speck getting put to death, Ted Bundy getting put to death, and now I thought Jeffrey Dahmer should have been, but again, he got killed in prison. He got life in prison. But I thought Charles Manson should have been put to death as well. So again, I'm a little bit different than you. I set a red line and you cross the red line and I fuck you up instantly without hesitation. Truly. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's what technology is supposed to do. The red light cameras and that, you're fucked up immediately. We don't wait. The faster we do it to you, the learns that it teaches you not to do it. Because the longer it takes, the more reward. So again, all these in public intoxications and DUIs need to go right back to the establishment they came from. So when they do these crimes, it needs to tie back into the establishment. So they have to run places like I did. We only needed 1.5 drinks per customer. And 1.5 drinks over several hours is not a lot of alcohol. So we didn't make our money at Charlie's or any place on selling shots. Now we had test tube and Jello, but didn't have much liquor in them. We didn't make our money by getting people fucked up and puking in the bathroom or getting into fights. That cost us money. So that caused tension and caused problems. So I'm here, all the police, and this guy's riding his bike. Nice. This is not Mardi Gras, where if they enforce the law, they're going to create a riot. So, big difference. So, again, I don't understand. So these police are supposed to be looking for public intoxication. And they can step in. They used to come into shenanigans and that, making sure they weren't drinking after hours. Truly, because they go downstairs and drink, and they would knock on the door and come in and like, okay, and then go downstairs, make sure they weren't drinking downstairs. So that was after it was closed. So again, even for the staff, after the liquor law, then unless you're a private club, That's the essence of key clubs. And Open Table can do key clubs. And where do I hang out with key clubs? Police officers that used to show up at 5 a.m. to mic the cop bar, or to the old El Capone place where I used to hang out at 5, that judges actually showed up. But they were private key clubs. And you had to have a membership. So it doesn't apply to them. So they can serve 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the funny thing is, where did they hang out? All the cops. Because when they're done here, they wanted to go hang out, and they went to Mike's. But the thing is, they were fucking knuckleheads. He couldn't get them to check their guns, and they fucking put bullets in the ceiling. And the on-duty commanders who were doing the shift, you know, the 6 a.m. to whatever, they like, you're fucking making it. And so they just shut it down. Because they didn't care. They get off and they can go and hang out at a regular bar that's open because, again, they didn't work the third shift. So they shut it down. Because their shift, first shift, it was causing them problems with complaints. And so they shut down the cop bar. And he was like, and he was an ex-cop that owned it. And he's like, I can't get these fucking assholes to do the right thing. So what happened? They lost their place to hang out. So I don't understand. If it can go for a cop bar and get shut down, then why are these motherfuckers not getting shut down? So I'm confused at all of this. That these motherfuckers, go ahead, hit me. I'm waiting to see how the cops, as all these people threaten me, waiting for the hit me so I can call 911 and see how the cops are going to respond to them hitting me. Because they fucking terrorize me. So I want to see if the cops are legit. I'm not trying to get... They keep on fucking doing it to me. So eventually, like, they hit me multiple times like that. The fucking girl who sideswiped me. And you get these fucking pricks right here looking at me and giving me, like, an expression of disapproval. What do you mean? Disapproval. You're the one who's supposed to be going to jail for your illegitimate actions. So this is what I call cheap grace. Because somehow all these people think they're getting grace and they can get away with it. Who the fuck is telling them that? I told you most everybody gets condemned. So it's like in the air world. Just because you pray multiple times a day, God doesn't give a shit. He gives a shit at your actions. You don't need to pray. You know that? As I was brought up. And God, I don't have to ever pray. So, just because you pray, as Bin Laden prayed and all that, it doesn't mean you're a holy person. Like the pedophile priest and that. Just because they pray and wore the robe, holy is through your actions. That's what you have to learn through Jesus and the disciples. You don't need the collar. That formalizes things and you get formal recognition, but they didn't need the collar. You get it through your actions or works, as it says in the Bible. So all these people don't think works matter. Then why did Jesus die on the cross? Why did the disciples die? If works don't matter, then tell me how and why did Moses do what he did? King David or any of them? Moses or Noah? Any of them? If works don't matter, then they would have just sat there and prayed. So you're saying that it's only prayer, and the Bible says, no, look at all their fucking works. So it is not prayer over works, it is works over prayer. As God told me, Christians fucking talk too much, meaning you pray too much and don't do it. That's why in the Middle East, all these motherfuckers are going to die. Because they're all full of fucking shit. He doesn't care how many times you fucking pray a day. It doesn't make you holy. It only makes you the wolf in sheep's clothing. You don't have to ever pray. You just need to do the right actions. And one of them is accepting, like we in a Christian, accepting Jesus. But you don't accept them if you don't do the actions. And so it's like in the Muslim religion or Jewish religion, just because you say you are with God, you're not with God. The only way you're with God is by doing the actions. And if you're not doing the actions and you're driving around like all these motherfuckers, you're not with God. You're the Antichrist. You're the beast. And you're marked. And so all these motherfuckers are condemned. Like the guy behind me. So I just look at him as stupid. Yeah, you're going to fucking hell. He goes, I don't even know how you have a driver's license. And I'm talking about fucking tailgating. They should just strip the license immediately. If you value driving, being without it, let's see how much you value it. Like, these fucking three, go to fucking hell. Burn where you belong. You'll be there one day, and I hope he fucking fries you. See, I don't understand. I went out to the clubs and everything, and we didn't do any of this shit. And I went out to clubs around the fucking world. So it's not like I went out here. I've been into other countries and nightclubs. And the shit they do here, we didn't do anywhere in the world. And we didn't do it here. So these motherfuckers are all going to burn. They're fucking disgusting. This is no club industry that I know. It's a bunch of fucking deadbeat pieces of fucking shit. I mean, you can ask Costa or Austin or any of my friends. It all up and down the vertical. None of us did any of this shit. So we had raves we went to, and we didn't hang out fucking driving around like fucking idiots. Truly. So We threw them in Tucson, here, New York, you name it. And none of it was like this shit. So this is, I don't know, fucking every single person I see is a fucking piece of trash. Look in the camera. Do you see anything respectable with dignity? I mean, I don't get it. I worked at the Dome Room. I worked at Excalibur later in 2009 and that. And again, we didn't have this shit on the sidewalk and all this stuff, so I don't get any of this. But they really do need to tie back right to the person. So again, it's a joke. So I don't recognize what I see anymore. It's went to total fucking shit. This is not the fucking industry that I knew. And the funny thing is, these kids got more than ever before, and they're fucking bigger pieces of shit? What the fuck is up with that? That is total unbelievable disrespect. Somebody should do a mass beating of their fucking asses. Truly, they need to get the fuck kicked out of them. So I don't get it. This is one big fucking ghetto now. A bunch of fucking trash. And anyone on my video, I hope no one ever hires them. Because everything I see, I wouldn't hire a fucking one of them. I don't want them representing my... if I owned a company and those were my employees and how they fucking hang out. Fuck that. In New York, I used to go hang out with Matt and Steve and them, and we went to a karaoke bar, and they sang karaoke, or karaoke. But, again, this shit, I wouldn't hire a fucking one of these people. They're fucking garbage. Why would you hire any of these people that you see in my videos? They're pieces of fucking trash. Here's the Chicago Board of Trade. I hung out with lots of traders and that. Shitloads of them. From all the different floors. And we never did any of that shit. So, it's pretty frustration. I come down here and it's just fucking exponentially more fucking filth. So I don't get it. And I don't get the mix anymore either. So, again, I don't get the demographics. That places were, like by Sambar on Saturday night, it was Indian and East Asian, Southeast Asian. and they had certain demographics, and I don't even see that demographics anymore. So it totally shifted. So I don't get it. I'm gonna leave this video, but I pray and hope that you don't hire anyone you see in my fucking video. They don't deserve it. My thing was to share ideas and concepts, but what I see is fucking garbage. So look at these, like, I guess it's Asian trash as well. So everybody's moved ghetto. And so I guess black people are affecting everybody. I got Mike was in ghetto mentality. I got him out of the ghetto mentality. So because he grew up on the East Coast and he used to listen to rap, and then he had that, and I got him out of that mentality. That's not a good mentality. Representing and acting like a fucking thug piece of shit. It seemed not to do any of the rappers well, because how many of them are dead? So if you think it did them well, I look at them that died in their 20s and 30s, so I don't think it did them too well. They never got to really enjoy the money they made. They were long fucking dead. So I'll put on Tumblr. I'm gonna stop this video now. But again, this shit is really frustrating to see.